They thought $300 was enough to end my career. They were wrong. All I needed was my laptop, a solid understanding of intellectual property law, and the fact that they'd spent 12 years building their entire infrastructure around code I owned. In the end, their arrogance cost them $3.5 million and taught a 32-year-old hotshot the real value of experience. My name is Ryan Mitchell, and I'm 55 years old. For 12 years, I was the guy keeping Apex Technologies running behind the scenes. Senior systems architect, they called me, but really I was the bridge between their ancient mainframe systems and the shiny new cloud infrastructure everyone wanted. Not glamorous work, but somebody had to do it right. I never chased the spotlight. No conference talks, no LinkedIn thought leadership posts. I was the one they called at 2 a.m. when their financial transactions started timing out and millions of dollars hung in the balance. The guy who could untangle a mess of legacy code that connected to systems older than some of my coworkers, and honestly, I was fine with that arrangement. My daughter Sarah was starting her senior year of high school, already picking colleges and talking about majors. 17 years old and smarter than I ever was. The good schools were looking at $80,000 a year, but I'd been saving for this since she was born. My 401k was solid after 2 decades of steady contributions, and in a decade I'd have enough to retire comfortably. Everything was on track. Then Jordan Walsh showed up, fresh from Stanford with an MBA and big ideas about digital transformation. 32 years old, never spent a day maintaining production systems, but suddenly he was our new CTO with a mandate to modernize everything. Half our senior team started updating their resumes the day he arrived. The morning it all went wrong started like any other. I was at my desk at 7 a.m., checking overnight batch reports with my 4th cup of coffee. Everything looked green on the dashboard. My integration layer was handling 2 million transactions a day without breaking a sweat. Not pretty code maybe, but it worked. Ryan, got a minute? I looked up to see Jordan standing there in his $200 jeans and designer sneakers. The guy dressed like he was still in college, but that smug smile was pure executive. Sure, I said, minimizing my terminal windows. He stayed standing. Power move from some management playbook he probably learned in business school. I've been reviewing our system architecture, he said. Your integration layer is interesting. 29 years in tech had taught me that interesting was corporate speak for you're in trouble. The systems perform, I replied. Sub 200 millisecond response times, 99.94% uptime this year. Performance isn't everything, Jordan said, shifting in those expensive sneakers. The code is hard to follow. Legacy thinking. We need to address this technical debt before it becomes a liability. Technical debt. The favorite buzzword of executives who'd never written a line of production code. Every CTO before him had used the same phrase, right up until they realized my debt was the only thing preventing total system collapse. Which specific areas concern you? I asked, keeping my voice steady. Honestly, all of it. But that's not why I'm here. He pulled out his phone, tapped the screen a few times. This expense from last month, $300 for some database monitoring software. You used your personal credit card. My stomach dropped. It was a query analysis tool I'd bought after our procurement department spent 3 months evaluating vendors for something we needed immediately. I'd submitted the expense report the day I bought it. I submitted the reimbursement request. It's still pending approval. Not anymore, Jordan said, that smile getting tighter. Using personal funds for company resources violates procurement policy, introduces security risks. It's financial impropriety. It's a monitoring utility. We needed it to prevent outages. Procurement moves like molasses. Doesn't matter. This is grounds for immediate termination. Security will escort you out. Your personal items will be mailed. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. 12 years gone. Not for poor performance, not for misconduct. For a $300 tool that had already prevented 2 major outages. What about my reimbursement? I asked, already knowing the answer. Denied. Unauthorized spending is your responsibility. I stood up slowly, grabbed my coffee mug and the small plant I'd kept on my desk through 5 office moves. Around me, the usual office noise continued. Keyboards clicking, someone laughing at the printer. Nobody realized a career was just ending quietly. Badge and laptop, Jordan said, holding out his hand. I unclipped my security badge and handed over my company laptop. As I did, Something cold and focused started forming in the back of my mind like a process spinning up in the background. "Anything else?" I asked. He was already walking away. Security's waiting downstairs. I went back to my desk one last time, picked up that little plant, a succulent Sarah had given me for my birthday years ago. Tough little thing, just like me. "Ryan," Nicole from HR appeared with her tablet. "Everything okay?" "Just heading out," I said. "Take care, Nicole." She looked puzzled, but I was already walking toward the elevators. A young security guard, couldn't be more than 25, fell into step beside me. "Sorry about this," he mumbled. "Not your fault, kid." The elevator ride down 18 floors felt endless. By the time we reached the lobby, that cold calculation in my head had crystallized into clear intent. They'd just traded 12 years of institutional knowledge for $300. They had no idea what they'd actually lost. Outside in the parking garage, I sat in my car for a minute before starting the engine. Then I pulled out my phone and scrolled to a contact I hadn't called in years. Lisa Henderson, my old friend from law school who specialized in intellectual property and software licensing. "Ryan Mitchell," she answered after 2 rings. "This is a surprise. What's up? You free for lunch? I need to talk through some licensing issues." "Sounds serious. You okay?" I looked back at the Apex building, all glass and steel reaching toward the Boston sky. "I will be." We met at a quiet restaurant downtown, the kind of place where you could talk business without being overheard. Lisa was already there when I arrived, sharp in a navy suit that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage payment. "You look like someone just kicked your dog," she said as I sat down. "Got fired this morning. New CTO decided to make an example out of me over that $300 expense." Her eyebrows shot up. "After 12 years? That's got to be wrongful termination. Massachusetts is at-will employment. They could fire me for wearing the wrong color socks." I gripped my water glass, letting the cold steady my nerves. But that's not why I called. I opened my personal laptop and pulled up my GitHub repositories. Pages of code, all time-stamped, every commit meticulously logged. "These are integration libraries I built on my own time, with my own equipment," I explained. "I've been incorporating them into Apex's systems over the years because they needed solutions, and I had them." Lisa scanned through the license files. MIT here, Apache there. "Wait." She paused on one repository. "This one's custom. Wrote that license myself 4 years ago," I said. "Free for personal or academic use, but requires a commercial license for any for-profit company generating revenue." I pulled up logs, metrics, deployment records. Apex has been running this code in production everywhere. I've tracked every implementation, every transaction, every system integration. She leaned back in her chair, a slow smile spreading across her face. "You paranoid genius. How long have you been preparing for this?" "I wasn't preparing for anything. I was just being careful. Learned early that companies love using your work but hate paying for it." I showed her the usage statistics. Conservative estimate based on transaction volume and system deployment, $3.5 million in licensing fees. She nearly choked on her iced tea. "That's not conservative, Ryan, that's huge. It is conservative when you factor in what happens if they try to replace my code. Every system using it would need to be rebuilt from scratch. And they can't do that because I'm the only one who understands how it all connects together." Lisa studied the numbers more carefully. "This is based on their transaction volume? 2 million daily transactions, financial services, regulatory requirements, integration with 15 different legacy systems. My code handles the authentication layer, the data validation, the transaction routing, pull it out and everything crashes. This isn't really about the money, is it?" Lisa studied me across the table. "The money is how we quantify 12 years of midnight emergency calls, of being invisible until everything's breaking, then suddenly indispensable until it's fixed, of building something that actually works while management chases the latest buzzwords." She pulled out her tablet and started typing. "First step, document everything. Every commit, every deployment, every time they've used your code, already done." I slid a USB drive across the table. 4 years of logs, Git history, CI/CD configurations, even Slack conversations where they discussed implementing my libraries. She stared at the drive. "How did you—" "I built their monitoring infrastructure. I know where every byte of data lives." Lisa plugged in the drive and started scrolling through files. "Jesus, Ryan, this is meticulous. Timestamps, usage metrics, even performance benchmarks. 29 years in this business teaches you to cover your bases. Companies have short memories when it comes to who built what. This is going to be interesting. Then her expression turned serious. But Ryan, once we send that demand letter, there's no going back. You'll burn every bridge you've built there. They lit the match when they walked me out over $300. I'm just deciding where the fire spreads. We spent the next 2 hours planning our approach. Lisa would handle the legal details, make sure our case was bulletproof. I'd monitor their systems from the outside, using telemetry I'd built into my open source tools to track usage. We'd let them discover the consequences before they understood what was causing them. How long do we wait? She asked as we prepared to leave. Long enough for them to realize what they've lost, I said. Let them try to fill the gap before they understand the real cost. I drove home through Boston traffic, my mind already shifting gears. My apartment felt strange in the middle of a Wednesday afternoon. Too quiet, too still. I put Sarah's succulent on the windowsill and opened my laptop. First stop, Apex's public status page, everything green. My integration systems humming along perfectly, handling millions in financial transactions while HR processed my termination paperwork. The irony wasn't lost on me, but I knew this calm wouldn't last. Jordan had no idea what he'd inherited. To him, my systems looked messy, outdated. He didn't see the carefully balanced architecture I'd built over 12 years of real-world problems. He saw technical debt. I saw a house of cards, and he was about to start pulling out the wrong pieces. I switched to my private monitoring dashboard, hosted on infrastructure Apex didn't know existed. Embedded in my open-source libraries were telemetry hooks, nothing malicious, just usage statistics and error tracking that any responsible developer would include. Within hours, the first cracks appeared. Some junior developer pushed a cleanup commit, removing what they thought were unnecessary database hints. Classic Jordan influence. Prioritize clean-looking code over code that actually works. Query times spiked subtly, but enough for me to notice. Worse, they'd introduced a race condition that would only surface under heavy load. I closed the laptop and made dinner. Grilled salmon, roasted vegetables, a glass of wine. At 55, I'd learned to appreciate good food and quiet evenings. I ate alone while watching the news, thinking about Sarah's college applications and the retirement I'd been planning. My phone buzzed with texts from former colleagues who'd heard about my firing. Kevin Porter, Nicole from HR, even a few guys from the old mainframe team. I let most of them go to voicemail. What could I say? That I was planning to sue the company for millions? That I was watching their systems slowly fall apart from the outside? That night I slept better than I had in months. No on-call pager, no anxiety about system alerts, just quiet certainty that somewhere across town, my absence was already costing them. The next 3 weeks passed in an eerie calm. I fell into a new rhythm. Morning runs without checking alerts, coffee without bracing for disasters. I even started learning guitar again, something I'd abandoned when Sarah was little and work consumed everything. But I never stopped watching. My dashboard became a front-row seat to a slow-motion systems collapse. Empowered by Jordan's Modernize Everything mandate, the development team kept improving my code, renaming variables for readability, deleting comments they called clutter, restructuring modules for elegance. Each change looked harmless individually. Together, they were death by 1,000 cuts. The first major failure hit on a Tuesday. I was at the gym when my phone pinged with an automated alert. Payment processing deadlock. Not my problem anymore, but old habits die hard. I found a coffee shop, pulled up their public status page, still showing green, of course, and dug deeper. The deadlock was in a module interfacing with one of my transaction handlers. Someone had cleaned up what looked like redundant locking logic. Except it wasn't redundant. It handled rare concurrency cases that only surfaced under specific transaction patterns. By the time they caught it, 6 hours had passed. The payment system crawled at 15% capacity. In my old role, I could have fixed it in 10 minutes. Now I sipped my latte and watched their transaction throughput nosedive in real time. They eventually rolled back the change, but not before thousands of failed payments and the kind of executive panic that gets board members asking hard questions. Apex stock dropped 2% on reports of technical difficulties. That evening, Lisa called, saw the news about Apex's payment issues. "What news?" I asked, loading the dishwasher. Stock dropped after transaction failures. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? I'm unemployed, remember? Just enjoying my newfound freedom. She laughed. You're enjoying this way too much. I'm enjoying it exactly as much as it deserves. But that outage was just the appetizer. The main course came the following week during their quarterly release cycle. I'd built their deployment pipeline 5 years earlier, a complex orchestration of systems, environments, and rollback procedures, ugly but bulletproof across their heterogeneous infrastructure. Jordan, naturally, had replaced it with a sleek commercial solution, modern, streamlined, and completely wrong for their reality. The first deployment went fine, just a simple UI update. The second one, involving multiple interdependent services, exploded spectacularly. Service A launched expecting Service B's new API, which was still deploying. Service B couldn't start because Service C's database migrations hadn't finished. Service C was stuck waiting for Service A to release connection pools. Circular dependency. Total gridlock. The entire platform locked up. I was on my apartment balcony with a bourbon, watching the Apex building glow against the Boston skyline. At 55, I'd learned to appreciate these quiet moments. I could picture Jordan sweating, engineers hunched over laptops, pizza boxes piling up as the hours ticked past midnight. My phone rang. Unknown number, but I recognized the corporate prefix. Hello? Ryan, it's Kevin Porter. Kevin was one of the senior engineers, a good guy I'd worked with for 8 years. I know this is awkward, he said, but we're in serious trouble with the deployment system. Everything's locked up. Any chance you could point us in the right direction? I felt genuine sympathy for Kevin. He was caught in the middle of management decisions beyond his control. But sympathy doesn't pay college tuition or restore professional dignity. Check your service dependency graph, I said finally. Look for circular references. And Kevin, next time Jordan wants to fix something that isn't broken, remember this conversation. I hung up and finished my bourbon. They figured it out eventually, after 8 hours of downtime and another stock price hit. Technology blogs picked up the story. Apex Technologies suffers second major outage. LinkedIn recruiters started circling like sharks. Lisa called that afternoon. I've finished reviewing your documentation. This case is absolutely airtight. Your licenses are unambiguous, their usage is thoroughly documented, and the terms are legally enforceable. Good. When do we proceed? I considered waiting longer, letting them dig deeper. But there was strategic value in striking while they were vulnerable and the board was asking questions. Monday, I said. Give them the weekend to think they've stabilized things. Monday morning came cold and rainy. Classic Boston weather. I made coffee and settled in to watch the drama unfold. The demand letter would hit their legal department at 9 a.m. sharp. I didn't have access to their internal communications anymore, but I could imagine the chain reaction. Legal would read it, panic, forward it to the executive team. Jordan would dismiss it as frivolous until someone technical explained what my code actually did. Then the real panic would set in. At 11:23 a.m., my phone rang. Apex corporate number. Hello. Please hold for Jordan Walsh. I smiled. Faster than I'd expected. Ryan. His voice had lost that Silicon Valley confidence. I just received a disturbing letter from your attorney. Then you should probably have your attorney contact mine. Let's not escalate this unnecessarily. I'm confident we can resolve this reasonably. We could have resolved it reasonably. You chose not to when you fired me over a legitimate business expense. That's a separate issue. This claim for $3.5 million seems excessive based on 4 years of documented commercial usage of my proprietary code, I interrupted. The licensing terms are explicit. Want me to forward the emails where your predecessor acknowledged this arrangement? Silence. I could practically hear him grinding his teeth. This is extortion, he said finally. This is contract law. You've been using my software commercially without proper licensing. The invoice reflects documented usage. I paused. Of course, if you'd prefer to stop using my code immediately, you know we can't do that. Then I suggest your legal team review the licensing terms and prepare payment. Ryan, be reasonable. The company can't just write a check for $3.5 million. Should have considered that before you fired me to save $300. I hung up and poured another cup of coffee. The rest of Monday stayed quiet while the storm brewed inside Apex headquarters. Emergency meetings, frantic code audits, desperate searches for alternatives. Tuesday brought escalation. Lisa forwarded me an email from Apex's legal team disputing our claims, arguing that work for hire superseded any personal licensing. Standard corporate intimidation. "How do you want to respond?" she asked. "Send them the complete audit trail. Every commit from my personal laptop, every timestamp showing nights and weekends work. Include the communications where their engineers explicitly discussed using my personal projects. That should shut them up." Wednesday brought public consequences. A frustrated developer accidentally pushed internal documentation to a public repository. Nothing confidential, but it included architecture diagrams showing how deeply my libraries were embedded. Tech Twitter had a field day. Apex technologies built on engineers' personal projects trended briefly. Stock price dropped another 3%. Jordan called again that evening. I let it go to voicemail. "Ryan, this is Jordan. We need to resolve the situation. The board is extremely concerned. I'm certain we can find a mutually beneficial solution. Call me back." I deleted the message and opened a beer. Thursday became interesting. My GitHub repositories flooded with traffic, not from Apex, but from their competitors. Word had spread about code worth $3.5 million. My inbox filled with acquisition offers, licensing inquiries, job offers for principal architect positions. I forwarded the best ones to Lisa. "Might be useful in negotiations." "You're diabolical," she replied. "I love it." The weekend brought more system instability. Without proper maintenance, my integration layer started showing stress fractures. Error rates climbed, response times degraded. Their weekend on-call team was fighting fires I could have prevented with a 5-minute patch, but I wasn't their employee anymore. I was just a guy enjoying his retirement planning, watching Netflix, and learning guitar. Friday morning brought capitulation. Lisa called early, excitement crackling through the connection. "They've completely caved. Full payment of $3.5 million plus $65,000 in legal fees. They want an ongoing license and your agreement not to publicize the settlement. They pay the invoice for past usage," I said. "Future licensing is a separate negotiation, and I make no promises about publicity beyond what's legally required. This is going to get uglier." She was right. The next week saw Apex's situation deteriorate further. Without proper maintenance, my integration layer started buckling under load. Their systems held together with digital duct tape and prayers. A botched customer database update took down online services for 9 hours. The board called an emergency meeting. Nicole from HR texted me. "Jordan's in with the board. Looks terrified." I felt a moment of sympathy. Then I remembered him standing over my desk, smiling while he destroyed my career over $300. Everything changed the next morning. Lisa called at 6:30 a.m. They've completely surrendered. Full payment, no conditions on publicity, and they want to negotiate ongoing licensing. How much? The complete $3.5 million plus $65,000 in legal fees. I sat down heavily in my kitchen chair, coffee mug halfway to my lips. It was real. The number I'd calculated, the justice I'd planned, it was actually happening. "There's more," Lisa continued. "They terminated Jordan last night, effective immediately. The board wants to meet about ongoing licensing." I closed my eyes. Victory felt different than I'd expected. Satisfying, yes, but also sobering. At 55, I'd learned that winning often comes with unexpected weight. "Schedule the meeting," I said, "but make it clear, I'm not returning as an employee. If they want my code, they license it like any other vendor." The meeting was the following Wednesday. Same building I'd been escorted from, now welcoming me as a valued partner. The conference room was packed. Board members, the new interim CTO, legal counsel, even the CEO joining remotely. They needed my code desperately, and everyone knew it. "Mr. Mitchell," the board chair began, "thank you for meeting with us. We'd like to discuss a long-term arrangement." I listened to their proposal: annual licensing fees, comprehensive support contracts, consulting arrangements. The numbers were generous. They'd learned the cost of undervaluing expertise the hard way. "I appreciate the offer," I said when they finished, "but I have concerns about Apex's technical direction. You fired me for building functional code in favor of code that looked prettier. Why should I believe that philosophy has changed?" The interim CTO leaned forward. "Because we've learned that lesson, painfully. We need stability, not aesthetics. And the $300? The board chair actually smiled slightly. "We've reviewed that situation thoroughly. Your reimbursement has been approved with interest, and we've updated our policies to prevent such short-sighted decisions. I considered it carefully. The money was excellent, the vindication complete, but I wanted one more thing. I need a public statement acknowledging that Apex's infrastructure was built on contributions from its engineers. That innovation comes from empowering developers, not constraining them. They exchanged glances. The CEO cleared his throat over the speakerphone. That's somewhat unusual. So is firing someone over a $300 expense they incurred to keep your systems running. It took them 15 minutes to agree. I signed the licensing agreement that afternoon. Annual fee of $500,000 for unlimited usage, plus hourly consulting rates that made my old salary look like pocket change. The public statement went out the next day, carefully worded but clear. Apex valued its engineers and their contributions. Jordan's departure was buried in a Friday press release, pursuing other opportunities, the standard corporate fiction. 6 months later, I sit in my new office overlooking Boston Harbor, reviewing contracts from dozens of companies wanting what I built. The Apex incident transformed me into an entrepreneur. My licensing business employs 6 developers now, all senior engineers who'd been pushed out by younger managers chasing trends. We work remotely, set our own hours, and never argue about expense reports. Jordan landed at another tech company recently. I saw the announcement on LinkedIn. Funny thing, they're already one of my clients, integrating my libraries into their systems. I made sure to send them a particularly detailed invoice. The $300 query analyzer still runs in my infrastructure, now monitoring systems for dozens of clients. It's prevented millions in downtime, caught thousands of issues before they cascaded. I keep that original expense report framed in my office, denied stamped in red, as a reminder of how much can change from one small decision. Sarah started MIT this fall, computer science like her old man. The tuition's covered, plus enough left over for graduate school if she wants it. My retirement account is healthier than I ever imagined possible. Sometimes she calls me for advice on her coding assignments, and I tell her the same thing I wish someone had told me at her age. Document everything, protect your work, and never let anyone convince you that experience doesn't matter. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if Jordan had just approved that reimbursement. Would I still be at Apex, maintaining their systems in comfortable anonymity? Would I have ever realized what I'd built was worth? Probably not. Comfort breeds complacency. At 55, I'd grown too comfortable, too willing to accept being undervalued. It took being pushed over the edge to discover I could build something better. They thought they were saving $300. What they bought was my freedom to do what I do best. On my own terms, at my own price. Kevin Porter called me last month. He'd finally had enough of the chaos at Apex and wanted to know if I was hiring. I told him we'd talk. Good engineers are hard to find, and experience like his is worth its weight in gold. The rain's back, pressing against my office windows in that familiar Boston way. I turn back to my laptop, fingers finding their rhythm on the keyboard. Somewhere out there, my code runs its quiet magic, processing transactions, managing connections, keeping the digital world spinning, all because someone decided $300 was worth more than 12 years of expertise. Their mistake became my fortune, but more than that, it became my freedom. The code keeps running, the invoices keep coming. And somewhere in a management training session, a former CTO might be teaching executives about valuing technical talent. I hope he mentions the $300. I hope he explains how such a small decision can cascade into millions in consequences. But mostly, I hope the next generation of engineers learns what I learned too late. Know your worth, protect your work, and never let anyone convince you that loyalty is worth more than respect. After all, in this business, as in life, you get exactly what you're willing to accept. And I'm done accepting less than I'm worth. Because the most expensive lesson any company can learn is this. The people who build your empire in silence are the same ones who can bring it down with a whisper. Treat them accordingly.